Hello, fellow Americans. My name is Jim Dahlman. I've talked to you about Project 1 and Project 2. Now Project 3 has to do with defunding different tax costs to us. One is ACORN, which I talked to you about in the previous segments, and we need to defund that. There's no need for ACORN. Secondly, the EPA. You know, they've been in existence for, I don't know, they've been around for a long time, but I can remember when I was in my teens, it was nothing to change the oil in the car or the skidder or whatever, and just go next to a stump and pour the oil out on the ground. And back then the EPA didn't exist, so it was okay, I guess. If it wasn't okay, the environment got hurt. But according to the law, there wasn't any. And so the EPA came about, and they started out okay, and they've done their job. So now it's time to add to our vocabulary and our thinking defunding of that. And let me explain just for a second. They have trained America, and so they've served their purpose. We know inherently not to pour oil down a drain. We know inherently not to pour oil on the ground. We know we just don't do things like to keep it out of the lakes and for sure out of the Gulf. And so we know that. We knew it was wrong when we first heard the news. So the value of the EPA to America now that's right, I don't know either. And so we need to reconsider the EPA's worth. Now when we think about what happened in the Gulf, I'm just wondering where the protection was or the environmental situation was for the EPA, the E in the EPA. Let's see, the sea life, they got damaged severely. The fowl, they got damaged, the turtles. So where was the environmental protection in that? I don't know where that's at. So the protection part, where was that? We didn't get any. The Gulf didn't get any. They wouldn't let us do the work we knew we needed to do. See, there's my point exactly. We know what to do. We don't need them around to tell us we can't or can clean up. We knew what we had to do, and they were a roadblock in taking care of ourselves. We know how to do that. And thirdly, I should say, and where are the those who make up the agency? The overpaid individuals that you never hear of, and given the Gulf problem, certainly they're overpaid almost at whatever they're getting. It's too much. And they did very little, if any, to stop it. They held us up. So my question is, why not defund the EPA? America, we know how to keep ourselves safe, clean, and we know how to drill for oil without getting any on our shoes. And certainly, if there is an accident, we know how to clean it up. So I'm just suggesting that we defund ACORN. Think of the billions that would save. The EPA, we're talking about billions now, not millions. Billions of dollars, and that's where we have to look, just like you do at home, just like I do, cutting where you can and where you need to cut. Even if you think, man, I'd sure like to keep that. No, we have to cut where we need to cut. Those two we don't need. Now, abortions. You need to know where I stand. I'm born again, and I take a position on that, and it's not necessarily anti or in favor of. So let me explain that, just so you know whether you want to be a part of me at all in terms of the Constitutionalist Party. I am absolutely an advocate of choice. Choice is everything. We have a choice to become born again. We have a choice not to. We have a choice to buy a car, whichever we want to buy. We have a choice as to who we want to marry. We have all those choices and nobody pays for them. And I'm good with that. If I make a choice and it goes sour, or it is good, do I share the money with anybody I don't want to? No. But if indeed it goes sour, do I look to you or anyone to pay and make up the difference? Now, here's my point. If an individual or a couple want to, married or not, want to take their clothes off and go to bed and have a baby, that's okay. That's okay. That's the way they're made. On the other hand, the choice they make to do away with that baby is a whole new issue and a whole other issue. And let me explain that. We're talking about morality and we're talking about spirituality. And your Creator and mine has said a number of times that He has written the truth about God in the mind and the heart of men. All men, women and men as well. And Muslims, it doesn't matter whether you're an atheist, you still know the truth when it comes down to doing wrong or right. You know that inherently, you know that. Just like I was born and raised on a farm. And when the calves were born, sheep, it doesn't matter, we had horses when they were born, they never went to the front end of the mother for their milk. They went to the back end. They knew exactly where to go. That's what we're talking about. It's inherent in us to know that. So if they choose to abort a baby, that's between them and God, and I don't want to get involved in that. That's their prerogative. However, I don't want to pay for it. That's my only issue with abortion, because only that individual can answer to God for what they did. And so do I. So just leave me out of the finances of it, and then you can have all the abortions you would like to have. Just pay for them, and then you answer when the time comes. So those are three areas that we can defund, and they are billions and billions of dollars a year each. So we need to start cutting back and cutting out those things. Another one, I think I'm running out of time. Another one is no foreign aid. Stop the foreign aid. We don't need to do that, with the exception of 2, maybe 3 different countries who are truly our allies. But fund nothing unless we control where the money goes to within that country. And next time we'll talk about the military. I told you about the southern borders and the 5% of military going to there in a segment last week. Be coming up this week. I'll talk more about our military and the southern borders and what I would do in next week. I'd like to have a segment on if I were president. Here's what I would do. So America, thanks for listening. God bless you and God bless America.